Ladies and gentlemen, there's an ancient command. A command so powerful, it has echoed through time. A command that Florence Scovel Shinn, one of the greatest teachers of spiritual success, revealed to the world. It is not buried in some temple. It is not locked away in a vault. It lives inside you. And here's the truth. When spoken with authority, this command opens the floodgates of abundance. But let me ask you this. How many times have you felt blocked? How many times have you worked hard, prayed hard, only to feel like money and opportunities keep slipping through your fingers? I've been there. I know the frustration. And that's exactly why Florence's words strike like lightning. She said, "Your word is your wand." Think about that. Your word, the very words you speak, carry the same creative force that shapes your destiny. So here is the ancient command. I now command my rich, radiant, lavish good to manifest here and now. Simple. Clear. Direct. No begging. No hoping. It's authority. Let me give you a picture. Imagine a king on his throne. He does not plead with his servants. He does not say, "Please, if you don't mind, bring me water." No. He commands. And the command is obeyed. Why? Because his position carries authority. In the same way, when you speak with spiritual authority, the universe responds. Money responds. Opportunities respond. Life itself rearranges to serve you. But here's the catch, most of us don't command. We complain. We worry. We talk about lack, and lack multiplies. Let me ask you, if your words are seeds, what are you planting? Wealth or worry? Growth or fear? Florence's wisdom is this: speak as if it is already done. Don't chase money. Command it. Don't beg for opportunities. Declare them. And yes, it feels strange at first. You'll say, "How can I command when my wallet is empty? How can I speak riches when my bills are due?" But let me remind you, a farmer does not wait to see the harvest before planting seeds. He plants first. He believes first. And then the soil does its work. In the same way, when you issue the command *my supply is here, my wealth is here, my good is here *, you activate unseen forces. I'll share a real example. A woman once faced complete financial ruin. No money. No hope. She turned to Florence's teachings. Every day she declared, "Unexpected doors of abundance open for me now." At first, nothing happened. But she persisted. One day, out of nowhere, she received an offer for a job she hadn't even applied for. That job became the turning point. She went from broke to building a thriving business. Coincidence? Or command fulfilled? Friends, this is not magic. This is alignment. You are aligning your vibration, your expectation, and your authority with the riches already assigned to you. So today, I want you to make a choice. Are you going to keep speaking words of lack? Or will you rise like a king, like a queen, and issue the ancient command? Because your life is listening. Money is listening. And when you speak with authority, riches come fast. Say it with me now. I now command my rich, radiant, lavish good to manifest here and now. Believe it. Feel it. Live it. And watch the gates of abundance swing wide open for you. Thank you. Following are the key points you will listen in this video. Your words are powerful. What you speak shapes your reality. The ancient command is to declare abundance with authority, not with doubt. Speak riches as if they are already here. Words are seeds that grow into reality. Complaining and worrying multiplies lack. Commanding multiplies wealth. Persistence in declaration activates unseen forces and opens unexpected doors. Authority attracts riches fast. Command your good boldly and consistently. Your words are powerful. What you speak shapes your reality. This is not just a clever idea. It is the very foundation of how life unfolds, and if you sit with this truth for a moment, it can change the entire direction of your existence. Imagine walking through a marketplace. Everywhere around you are stalls filled with seeds, seeds of every kind. Seeds of joy, seeds of opportunity, seeds of lack, seeds of fear. And every time you open your mouth, you are reaching into one of those baskets, selecting a seed, and planting it into the soil of your future. You may not see the results instantly, but as surely as a seed becomes a tree, your words will become your reality. Florence Scovel Shinn famously said, "Your word is your wand." Just picture that. A wand, something magicians use to conjure and command. Every time you speak, you are waving that wand, sending out invisible currents of energy that shape what comes back to you. But here is the problem: most people don't realize they are holding this wand at all. They wave it carelessly. They say things like, "I'm always broke," or "nothing good ever happens to me," or "life is so unfair." And the universe, obedient and impartial, responds, "As you command." It gives back exactly what you declared. I once knew a man who had incredible talent. He could design, build, and create things most people couldn't even dream of. But every time an opportunity came his way, he would shrug and say, "Things never work out for me." And you know what? They never did. Doors closed. Projects failed. Promises fell apart. Not because he lacked skill, but because his words became the soil he planted his life into. His speech carried the energy of defeat, and defeat answered. He thought he was just venting frustration, but in reality, he was writing tomorrow's script with today's words. On the other hand, I met a single mother who had every reason to complain. Bills piled up, her job barely covered rent, and she carried the weight of raising 2 children alone. Yet, she refused to let her tongue betray her vision. Instead of saying, "I can't make it," she declared, "Everything I need comes to me in perfect time." Instead of saying, "I'll never get ahead," she affirmed, "Doors of abundance open for me now." Did it change overnight? No. But day by day, things shifted. A neighbor offered to watch her kids so she could work extra hours. A promotion opened at her company when no one expected it. Unexpected checks arrived in the mail. One by one, her words carved a new path. Today, she runs her own business, and she swears it began the moment she stopped cursing her life with her tongue and began blessing it instead. Let's be honest, words feel so small, don't they? Just sounds leaving our lips. And yet, look around, entire nations are built and destroyed by words. Wars begin with words. Peace treaties are sealed with words. Love blooms when words are whispered. Families shatter when words cut deep. If words can move armies and alter history, why wouldn't they also shape your finances, your opportunities, your inner world? Think of your mind as a recording studio and your mouth as the speaker. Every word you utter is a track laid down into the soundtrack of your life. Play it often enough, and it becomes the background music you live by. Say, "I can't afford it 1,000 times, and soon your actions, decisions, and even your posture align with scarcity. But say, "I live in limitless supply," and you will start to notice opportunities that were invisible before. It's like tuning a radio. Your words tune your frequency, and you begin to attract what matches that signal. Even science whispers the same truth. Psychologists call it self-fulfilling prophecy. Speak failure, expect failure, and subconsciously you sabotage yourself until it comes true. Speak confidence, expect success, and you behave in ways that magnetize success to you. Spiritual law, psychological law, practical law, they all bow to the power of the spoken word. Florence told a story of a woman who desperately needed money. Instead of panicking, she walked outside each morning and boldly declared, "My supply is endless, inexhaustible, immediate, and comes to me under grace in perfect ways." Neighbors thought she was strange, but within weeks she received unexpected funds and help from sources she hadn't imagined. Was it luck? Or was it the unwavering force of words spoken with conviction? Here's something to ponder. Imagine walking into a restaurant, sitting at the table, and when the waiter asks what you'd like to eat, you say, "I don't know, maybe nothing works out for me. I never get what I want anyway." What would happen? You'd leave hungry. The waiter cannot serve you without a clear order. Life works the same way. It is the grand waiter, ready to bring forth your desires. But if your order is confusion, complaint, or lack, that is exactly what will be served to you. Your words are the menu. Your declarations are the order slip. I once tried an experiment with a group of students. For 30 days, half of them were told to repeat phrases like, "I am always tired, nothing works out, and I'm so unlucky." The other half declared daily, "I am full of energy, Things always work out for me, and I am blessed with luck. The difference after a month was astonishing. The first group looked drained, frustrated, and negative events seemed to pile on them. The second group appeared more vibrant, optimistic, and they reported small wins like unexpected gifts, smoother days, new connections. Was it coincidence? Or was it the power of words programming their minds and, in turn, their realities? So I ask you, what stories are you telling yourself daily? Do you wake up saying, another hard day, or do you rise declaring, this day overflows with opportunity? Do you tell your friends, I'm always broke, or do you affirm, money flows to me freely and abundantly? Your life is echoing back the very words you send out. The echoes may take time, but they never fail. Your words are not small. They are living commands. They are invisible architects drafting the structure of your tomorrow. Each phrase is a brushstroke painting the canvas of your future. You don't need to wait for luck, for chance, for permission. You already hold the wand. And every time you open your mouth, the spell is cast. What you speak, you create. What you affirm, you attract. What you declare, you live. There is a difference between asking timidly and declaring boldly. One carries the energy of doubt, the other the authority of truth. When Florence Scovel Shinn spoke of the ancient command, she was not talking about polite requests. She was talking about words spoken with the force of authority, the kind of speech that shifts the very air around you. You know that tone, the tone of someone who knows, not someone who hopes. Think about a child learning to walk. A mother does not stand in the corner saying, please, little one, if it's not too much trouble, maybe you could try to take a step. No, she claps her hands, she calls with authority, come here. You can do it. The child, drawn to that confident command, finds strength to move forward. Life responds in the same way. When you speak with hesitation, life hesitates. But when you command with certainty, life rushes to obey. Picture this. A king on his throne does not beg his servants to bring him food. He does not wring his hands, hoping someone will hear him. He commands, and the command is carried out. Why? Because he knows who he is. He knows his position. The words of a king carry authority, not because of the volume of his voice, but because of the certainty of his identity. And here is where many of us fall short, we forget our position. We forget that we are not beggars in the universe, but co-creators with it. Florence once told her students, you must act as if you already have it. That's the essence of authority. Authority does not ask, will it come? Authority declares, it is already mine. Imagine standing in front of a locked door. A person without authority rattles the handle, knocks timidly, maybe even pleads for someone inside to open. A person with authority takes out the key, turns it, and walks right in. The key is your declaration. When you speak it boldly, you unlock what is already yours. I once met a man who struggled for years with money. He prayed constantly, but his prayers were soaked in fear. Please, God, if you can, just send me enough to pay the rent. Week after week, he begged. And week after week, he found himself short. One day, someone told him about Florence's teachings. He was challenged to change his words from begging to commanding. So instead of saying, please help me, he began saying, I am supplied here and now. Abundance flows to me freely and consistently. At first, it felt strange, even arrogant. But the more he declared, the more something shifted not just around him, but inside him. His posture straightened. His decisions became bolder. He started applying for opportunities he would have never considered before. Within months, his finances turned around. His outer world shifted because his inner authority finally spoke. Authority is not about shouting louder. It is about believing deeper. Have you ever seen a teacher quiet a noisy classroom with just one look? No yelling, no begging, just a presence that says, I mean it. That is authority. And when you speak to life, to money, to opportunity, with that same presence, creation listens. Doubt makes your words weak, authority makes them magnetic. Florence gave an example of a woman who needed a home. She didn't say, I hope someday I'll find a place to live. She declared, I have a perfect home. It is already prepared for me. It comes to me now. Within weeks, she found an apartment that fit her needs so precisely it felt as if it had been waiting just for her. That is the nature of authority. It doesn't knock on every door hoping one will open. It speaks the command, and the right door swings wide. I want you to think of your words as soldiers. When you speak with doubt, those soldiers wander aimlessly, unsure of what orders to follow. But when you speak with authority, they march in formation, carrying out the exact mission you assign. Your words are not just sounds, they are instructions. They go out into the world and begin constructing the reality you declared. That is why authority matters. Without it, the instruction is weak. With it, the instruction is law. And yes, I know, when your bank account is low, when the bills are pressing, when opportunities seem silent, authority feels hard to muster. But that is exactly when it is most needed. Authority is not pretending, it is remembering. Remembering that you are more than your circumstances. Remembering that abundance is already in the field of possibility, waiting to be claimed. Authority is the voice that cuts through the noise and says, "This is mine. It belongs to me. And I will not be denied." One woman told me that when she first started declaring, "I am rich in divine substance. Money comes to me in perfect ways," she felt ridiculous. Her friends even laughed. But she kept saying it. Every morning, every night, she spoke it as if it were already true. Slowly, she noticed her relationship with money shifting. She stopped feeling like a victim. She started making wiser choices, spotting opportunities others overlooked. Today she says, "It wasn't just the money that changed, it was me." That is the hidden power of authority. It transforms you into the person who matches the abundance you seek. There is a reason ancient texts say, "Let the weak say, I am strong." Notice it doesn't say, "Let the weak hope they will be strong." It says, "Declare it now." Why? Because when you speak with authority, your words begin pulling your reality upward to meet them. Life doesn't wait until you feel strong to confirm your strength. Life confirms your strength because you spoke it first. Authority is not arrogance. Authority is alignment. It is aligning your words with the truth that abundance is your birthright. Authority says, "This is not wishful thinking. This is who I am. This is what belongs to me." And when you step into that place, you begin to live not as a beggar waiting for scraps, but as a rightful heir claiming your inheritance. So the next time you feel lack pressing on you, stop yourself. Do not beg. Do not whimper. Do not speak from fear. Lift your head, square your shoulders, and declare with authority, "I now command my rich, radiant, lavish good to manifest here and now." Speak it as a king speaks. Speak it as a queen speaks. Speak it as one who knows the universe is listening and ready to obey. Because when you declare with authority, doubt dissolves, fear loses its grip, and abundance comes rushing forward like a tide that can no longer be held back. Imagine holding a tiny seed in your hand. It looks so small, so fragile, almost meaningless. If you dropped it on the floor, no one would even notice. And yet, within that little seed lies the potential for a towering tree, for branches that could shade a family, for fruit that could feed generations. The seed doesn't look like the tree. It doesn't feel like the tree. But hidden inside it, the tree is already there. Your words work the same way. Every sentence you speak is a seed. Some are seeds of abundance. Some are seeds of lack. Some are seeds of joy, some of despair. But whether you recognize it or not, you are planting constantly. And just like a farmer, you don't get to plant thorns and expect roses. You don't get to plant scarcity and harvest riches. You reap what you sow, always. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Your word is your wand." She knew that the words you speak, especially when spoken with faith and repetition, eventually manifest in form. If you want riches, you must plant riches with your tongue. If you want joy, you must speak joy into the soil of your life. The tragedy is that so many people are careless gardeners. They say things like, "I'll never get out of debt," or "I always have bad luck," or "money slips through my hands." And every one of those sentences is a seed. The soil of life does not discriminate. It doesn't ask, "Are you sure you want this?" It simply receives the word, waters it with emotion, and grows it into form. I once met a man who constantly told people, "I'm cursed when it comes to money. Every time I save, something happens, and I lose it all." He thought he was just being realistic. But sure enough, whenever he built up a little cushion, a car broke down, a medical bill appeared, or his hours were cut at work. He didn't realize that he had been planting seeds of loss for years. And life, faithful to the laws of creation, gave him exactly what he declared. Now let me tell you the opposite story. A young woman I knew was fresh out of college with debt piled high. Her friends all complained about how impossible it was to get ahead. But she refused to join their chorus of lack. Instead, she began each morning declaring, "I live in abundance. Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways. I am rich now." She said it before she saw it. She said it when her bank account was nearly empty. She said it when fear told her she was lying. But she kept planting those words, day after day. Within a year, she landed a position at a company that doubled her income. Within 3 years, she bought her first home. She said, "I spoke it long before I saw it, and eventually I walked into the harvest of my words." That's the key. You cannot wait until you see the tree before planting the seed. Faith demands you speak riches as if they are already here, because in truth, they are. The unseen always comes before the seen. A farmer does not wait for fruit before planting seeds. He plants in faith, trusts the soil, waters diligently, and knows the harvest is inevitable. Why should your words be any different? It may feel unnatural at first. Your mind will resist. You'll feel silly declaring, "I am rich, I am prosperous, money flows to me now," when you are staring at unpaid bills. But remember, the seed doesn't look like the harvest. The power is hidden. Just because you cannot see it today does not mean it isn't already growing beneath the surface. The soil of life is faithful. It will bring forth what you have planted, whether good or bad. Think about how many times people casually say, "I'm so unlucky," or "I can't catch a break." Those words are not harmless, they are seeds. And they grow into more of the same. Florence warned her students, "Never use your words against yourself. If you want riches, speak riches. If you want freedom, speak freedom. If you want doors to open, speak them open." Let me paint you a picture. Imagine 2 neighbors, both planting in their gardens. One sows seeds of roses, the other scatters weeds. Months later, one walks through a garden bursting with color and fragrance, while the other trudges through a patch of thorns and choking vines. Neither can blame the soil. The soil did its job. It grew what was planted. The difference was in the seed. Life works exactly this way. The harvest you are walking through today is the result of the seeds you planted yesterday with your words. If you don't like the garden, change the seed. Florence once shared a powerful affirmation, "I have a wonderful work, in a wonderful way, I give wonderful service, for wonderful pay." She encouraged people to speak it daily, even if their jobs were hard, even if their pay was low. And many testified that new positions, promotions, and unexpected opportunities began to appear. Why? Because the soil of life had no choice but to grow the seeds of those declarations. I want you to consider something deeply. Every time you say, "I am rich," even if your circumstances scream otherwise, you are planting. And each time you repeat it, you are watering that seed. Eventually, conditions align, roots grow, and the harvest appears. On the other hand, every time you say, "I'm broke," you are also planting and watering. And life, impartial and fair, grows what you asked for. So I ask you, which seeds are you planting? When you speak about money, are you planting lack or abundance? When you talk about opportunities, are you planting doors or walls? When you describe yourself, are you planting success or defeat? Words spoken with faith are never wasted. They are invisible seeds, silently germinating, waiting for the right season to break through the soil. Sometimes the harvest is quick, other times it takes longer. But rest assured, it always comes. As the ancient text says, "You shall eat the fruit of your lips." So speak riches now. Speak them boldly. Say, "Wealth belongs to me. Abundance surrounds me. My good manifests here and now." Let those words become your daily seed, planted in every conversation, every prayer, every declaration. Because one day, just as surely as a tree rises from a hidden seed, you will look around and find yourself standing in the middle of the garden you spoke into being. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to complain? How natural it feels to worry? You stub your toe, and instantly the words fly out, "Nothing ever goes right for me." A bill arrives in the mail, and the thought slips out, "I'll never get ahead." It feels harmless, doesn't it? Just words. Just frustration spilling out. But here's the secret most people miss. Complaining and worrying are not just venting. They are creative acts. They are seeds, planted in the soil of life, and the harvest they produce is more lack, more struggle, more of the very thing you were trying to escape. Florence Scovel Shinn was crystal clear: you cannot always control your thoughts, but you can control your words. And words carry weight. Complaints multiply the problem. Worry feeds the very wolf you're trying to starve. The energy of lack cannot create abundance. It can only create more lack. Imagine trying to put out a fire by pouring gasoline on it. That's exactly what happens when you worry and complain. You think you're expressing your pain, but in truth you're feeding the flames. I once knew a man who was brilliant at his craft. But every conversation with him circled back to what was wrong. His boss didn't appreciate him, his paycheck was too small, the world was unfair. Over time, I noticed something fascinating. His life seemed to keep giving him more reasons to complain. Projects he worked on would stall. Promotions always went to someone else. Money came in, but unexpected expenses always took it away. His outer world mirrored his inner words. His complaining multiplied lack because that was the energy he kept commanding into existence, without even knowing it. On the other hand, I once met a woman who had every reason to complain. Her car had broken down, her job barely covered the basics, and her health was shaky. But she made a bold decision: she would not complain, not once. Instead, she turned every moment of fear into a command. When the bill arrived, instead of saying, "How will I ever pay this?" she declared, "This bill is already paid in divine order." When her car broke down, instead of groaning, "Why me?" she said, "The perfect solution comes quickly and easily." Day by day, her life began to change. Opportunities that once passed her by began to open. A friend helped her with her car. A better job came her way. Even her health began to improve. She told me, "The moment I stopped feeding lack with my words, everything shifted." Here's the truth: worry is a rehearsal of failure. Complaining is a declaration of lack. Both are forms of negative prayer. Every time you say, "I can't afford it," you are commanding your life to keep you in poverty. Every time you sigh, "I'll never get out of this mess," you are authorizing the universe to keep the mess alive. Words are commands, whether you mean them to be or not. The question is, are you commanding wealth or commanding lack? Think about electricity. It does not care whether you plug in a lamp or an electric chair. It simply obeys the connection. Words work the same way. The energy of life flows to whatever command you give. Plug in a complaint, and you light up lack. Plug in a declaration of abundance, and you light up prosperity. The power does not discriminate. It only obeys. Florence told her students, "Never voice lack. Never say money is hard to get." She taught them to flip the script. Instead of saying, "I don't have enough," she urged them to declare, "I have plenty. All my needs are met." Even if their wallets were empty, the command had to go forth. Why? Because authority multiplies wealth, while complaint multiplies lack. Let me give you an image. Imagine standing in front of a mirror, frowning, and saying, "I wish you would smile." The mirror does nothing. It only reflects what it sees. But the moment you smile, the mirror smiles back. Complaining at life is like frowning at the mirror, it cannot change the reflection. You must first change the expression you are giving. Command joy. Command supply. Command opportunity. Then life reflects it back. One man I knew tested this principle. He was drowning in debt and confessed that he worried constantly. He would lie awake at night rehearsing conversations with creditors, picturing himself losing everything. His worry became a magnet for more debt. When he learned Florence's teachings, he decided to try something radical. Every time the thought of debt crept in, he replaced it with a command: "I am now free from debt." Money flows to me in avalanches of abundance. At first, it felt hollow, even false. But he persisted. Weeks later, he was offered freelance work that brought in extra income. Then, a debt consolidation program allowed him to pay off what once felt impossible. It was as if the tide turned, he said. The moment I stopped worrying, solutions started finding me. Complaining is easy. Commanding requires discipline. Complaining comes from habit. Commanding comes from intention. The question is, which habit do you want to build? If your words are bricks, do you want to keep building walls of worry, or will you start building gates of wealth? Florence reminded her students constantly, speak it as if it is already done. If you are sick, declare health. If you are broke, declare riches. If you are lost, declare guidance. Life cannot resist the command of authority spoken in faith. But life also cannot resist the command of complaint spoken in doubt. Both are seeds. Both will grow. Only one will bring the harvest you desire. I want you to imagine two people in a storm. One stands in the rain shouting, "Why is this happening? It's always like this. I hate the storm." The other stands firm and declares, "The storm passes. The sun is shining for me now." Which one do you think feels more power? Which one will see the rainbow first? Complaining ties you to the storm, commanding pulls you toward the sun. So the next time you catch yourself saying, "I can't," stop. The next time you feel the worry rise up and spill out as complaint, pause. Replace it. Turn the complaint into a command. Instead of, "I'll never get out of debt," declare, "I am free, I am prosperous, I am provided for." Instead of, "I can't afford it," command, "Money flows to me in perfect ways." Instead of, "Nothing ever works out," affirm, "Everything works out for my highest good." It may feel forced at first. But just like a muscle grows with practice, your authority grows with repetition. Soon, the habit of complaining will fade, and the habit of commanding will take over. And when it does, wealth multiplies. Opportunities appear. Doors open. Because complaining and worrying multiply lack, but commanding multiplies wealth. And the choice, every day, is yours. There is a golden key that so many overlook. A key that Florence Scovel Shinn emphasized again and again. That key is gratitude. Gratitude is not just polite manners, not just saying thank you when something arrives. It is the spiritual seal that locks your blessing in place and multiplies it. Without gratitude, even great riches can slip away. With gratitude, even the smallest gift multiplies beyond imagination. Think of gratitude as the echo that sends your words back with double force. When you declare, you are sending out a sound. When you give thanks, it is as if the universe echoes it back to you, carrying more with it than you released. Gratitude is like the sunlight to the seed of your affirmation. Words plant, persistence waters, but gratitude shines light so the seed bursts into life. Too many people live in a constant state of asking, asking, asking. They declare, "I want money, I want opportunities, I want freedom." But they forget to pause and whisper, "Thank you." Imagine being with a friend who only ever asks you for favors but never once expresses appreciation. Would you be eager to give them more? Now imagine another friend who constantly says, "Thank you for what you've done, it means so much." That kind of gratitude makes you want to pour even more into their life. The universe is no different. Gratitude multiplies your blessings because it signals you are ready to hold and honor more. I once knew a man who was drowning in debt. He had nothing but coins left in his pocket. Every morning he would buy the smallest cup of coffee he could afford. Instead of feeling bitter, he would sit with that cup, hold it in both hands, and whisper, "Thank you. Thank you for this warm drink. Thank you for the taste. Thank you for the few coins I still have." He practiced gratitude for what little remained. And then, almost mysteriously, his life began to shift. Within months, an unexpected promotion arrived. Soon, opportunities seemed to flow toward him. He said later, "I believe it was gratitude that changed me. Because when I became thankful for what I had, even if it was small, life trusted me with more." Gratitude has a way of opening your eyes. What you focus on grows. If you fixate on what you lack, the lack expands in your awareness, and you feel emptier by the day. But when you focus on what you already have, no matter how small, it multiplies in your perception. You feel richer, fuller, more abundant. And when you feel abundant, you align yourself with abundance. Gratitude is not only spiritual, it is psychological, emotional, and magnetic. It changes the entire vibration of your being. Florence Scovel Shinn often advised her students to say, "Thank you, God, my supply is endless and immediate." She taught them to express thanks for blessings before they arrived, as if they had already manifested. Why? Because gratitude before the fact is the highest demonstration of faith. Anyone can say thank you after receiving. But those who say thank you before, their words carry a power that calls the blessing into being. It's like placing an order and already setting the table for the meal, confident that it's on its way. Imagine a farmer planting seeds. He doesn't wait for the crop to grow before celebrating. He thanks the land, thanks the rain, thanks the sun in advance, knowing the harvest will come. Gratitude in advance is faith in motion. It is declaring, the blessing is already mine, I'm simply waiting to unwrap it. And that energy accelerates manifestation because it erases doubt. Doubt says, will it come? Gratitude says, it is already here. Let me share another story. A woman longed for financial freedom but felt trapped in scarcity. She began a simple practice. Every night before bed, she listed 10 things she was grateful for. At first, it was difficult. She thought, what is there to be thankful for when my bills outweigh my income? But she started small. I'm thankful for my bed. I'm thankful for the roof above me. I'm thankful for the friend who called me today. I'm thankful for the meal I had. As days turned into weeks, her attitude shifted. She began noticing opportunities she had ignored before. She networked more confidently. She carried herself with peace instead of desperation. Within a year, her financial situation had transformed. She said, it wasn't magic, it was gratitude. Gratitude changed my vision, and my vision changed my world. That is the secret power of gratitude. It multiplies because it shifts your lens. You stop seeing emptiness, and you start seeing fullness. And what you see, you attract. Florence said, gratitude is the law of increase. When you are grateful, you are telling life, I recognize what you have given me, and I am ready for more. It is the language of multiplication. Think of it this way, gratitude is like pouring oil into the gears of a machine. Without it, the machine grinds, squeaks, and struggles to move. With it, everything flows smoothly, and momentum builds. Gratitude oils the gears of abundance. Without it, riches stall. With it, riches move freely into your hands. Even in sacred texts, we see this principle. Jesus, before multiplying the loaves and fishes, gave thanks. He didn't wait for the miracle to arrive before expressing gratitude. He blessed what was already in his hands, no matter how small. And it multiplied. That is the pattern for your life as well. Bless what you have, thank what you have, and it cannot help but multiply. So many people sabotage their blessings by complaining. They receive a small increase and say, this isn't enough. They find a new opportunity but murmur, it's not perfect. Complaining is the opposite of gratitude, and it shrinks your capacity to receive. Gratitude says, this is wonderful. Thank you. I bless it. And by blessing it, you invite more. If you want riches to come fast and stay, seal every blessing with gratitude. When money arrives, whether it's $10 or 10,000, whisper, thank you. When an opportunity comes, even if it's small, say, thank you. Gratitude is the magnet that turns little into much. Without it, much becomes little. Florence urged her students not only to give thanks for visible blessings but also for invisible ones. Thank you for the doors that are opening now. Thank you for the riches that are on their way. Thank you for the favor that surrounds me. Gratitude in advance is a command to the unseen, it is done. And the unseen responds by arranging circumstances to match your thanks. I want you to picture gratitude as a river. Each thank you you give is another drop feeding that river. As it flows, it gathers strength, momentum, power. Soon it becomes a current strong enough to carry you into blessings far beyond what you asked for. Gratitude multiplies because it flows. And when it flows, nothing can resist it. So the question is not just, what do you want? The greater question is, what are you thankful for right now? Because that answer determines what multiplies in your life. If you are thankful for little, little becomes much. If you are blind to the blessing, even much will feel like little. Gratitude seals the blessing. Gratitude multiplies the riches. Gratitude is the ancient command that ensures what you call for stays and expands. My friends, you now hold in your hands an ancient command, a truth passed down, spoken by Florence Scovel Shinn, echoed across generations, waiting for you to claim it. The command is simple, but its power is infinite. Speak with authority, persist with faith, and seal it with gratitude. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait for the stars to align. Life moves when you move. Riches flow when you call them. Doors open when you knock and refuse to stop knocking. Say it now. Say it tomorrow. Say it until the walls fall and the way clears. Say it until the fear fades and faith becomes your breath. Say it until what you once begged for stands in front of you, undeniable, unstoppable, overflowing. Because words create. Persistence shapes. Gratitude multiplies. This is the rhythm of abundance, the law that governs riches, the command that cannot fail when spoken with conviction. So I ask you, what will you declare tonight? What will you persist in tomorrow? What will you give thanks for before it ever arrives? The time is not later. The time is not someday. The time is now. And remember this, riches do not come because you chase them. Riches come because you command them.